So Andy Cohen was on a panel with Jeff Lewis. He was being interviewed by Jeff Lewis, and Andy was talking about the show, and he said that us, the viewers, we could expect to see a lot more of Gia Giudice in the upcoming season, and that he actually could see Real Housewives of New Jersey Next Generation featuring Gia Giudice. So you could hear a few voices from the crowd at that point. Not exactly at that point, but during that interview with Jeff Lewis, there were a few hecklers that were basically chanting to fire Teresa. I think I heard somewhere that it was a couple of people, but when you actually watch the video, it feels like it was more than just a couple of people. I just thought I would say that. But they were chanting to fire Teresa. They were saying, fire Teresa, and to get rid of her. And if you watch it on video, you could see that Andy was visibly annoyed by it, and he asked them to stop. So I thought it was very interesting when Andy continued and said that he sees Gia, this is a possibility in seeing Gia becoming a housewife eventually. And something that was very interesting, and that did not necessarily happen on that panel, but there was a panel afterwards, maybe on the second day of BravoCon. But the panel was with Teresa, Giselle, Kyle Richards from Beverly Hills. That lady, I can't remember her name, but she's from Salt Lake City. And there was Robin from The Real Housewives of Potomac. So they were all on a panel together. And then someone asked if the ladies would be happy, like someone from the crowd, at the end, people are allowed to interview, or not to interview, but to ask a question to the housewife. So someone from the crowd asked if they would see, or if they would want, or if they would be happy, I should say, if their daughters wanted to do the show later on and become housewives or reality TV stars. So Robin, Robin from Potomac, since she's the only one with boys, obviously the question did not apply to her. But everybody else on that panel, like I'm talking about the girl from The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. I just don't really watch that franchise, so that's why I'm not familiar with her. But I have seen her on Girls Trip. I'm not trying to be shady. I just really do not remember her name. But she's that blonde lady that used to be, well, that's not really relevant that she was friends with Jen Shah, but she was believing Jen Shah. So you guys know who I'm talking about. So anyways, she has daughters, and Kyle, we all know Kyle has daughters only. Teresa has daughters only, and Giselle has daughters only. So Robin was the only one who actually has two boys. Therefore, that question did not apply to her. But so starting from the lady from Salt Lake City, the lady said, no, my daughter, she kind of sees what I'm doing. She thinks it's fun to a certain degree, but she is definitely not interested in reality TV. She wants no parts of it. That's it. And then they moved on to Kyle, and Kyle was like, absolutely not. I would not be happy with that. I do not support that. I do not want that. I don't want them to become housewives. It's like a hard no for her. Right, although her kids are being featured in a real estate show on Netflix, and it is somewhat a little bit of a reality TV show. It may not be, with the same dynamic that Kyle is experiencing with Housewives, but it is a reality show regardless, focusing mostly on real estate and their journey as real estate agents. But anyways, Kyle was very adamant that she does not want that for her girls. And just to offer a little bit of insight here for those who do not know this, but Kyle was a child star, her and her sister Kim Richards. So she might, she has grown up in the industry, and she might not want her kids, even though they are grown now, to be exposed to some of the things that a lot of these kids are being exposed to when they grow up in the industry, right? And I have to say, I'm not a big fan of Kyle, but so far I think she has done a fantastic job to, shelter her kids when it comes to all of that, right? From what I know, anyways. So, and then after that, they move on to Giselle, and Giselle says, no, like, my girls have absolutely no interest in becoming reality TV stars. They think it's fun at times, like basically saying the same thing that the other ladies had said before her, right? So then at that point, Teresa is the last one to have to answer to that question. And Teresa says, well, she's the only one that didn't say no, that didn't say absolutely not. She was actually like, well, Gia, she was kind of like dancing around the question a little bit. And she said, Gia is too young to get married and to become a housewife. So that's where she started from. She's like, she's too young to get married and become a housewife. Although we know that there have been some other housewives that were on the show that were not necessarily married, or they, for example, Bethany Frankel, she was not married when she joined the show. She was in a relationship, yes, but she was not necessarily what you look at in terms of traditional housewife, right? But anyways, so Teresa said that about Gia, and she said, but later on, if this is what Gia wants to do, then that's her decision. I'm not going to basically tell her not to do it. I'm not going to tell her to do it. It's her decision, and I'm supporting her no matter what she chooses to do. So that was Teresa's response when it came to that particular question, which I thought was very interesting, given what Andy had just said during his panel with Jeff Lewis. And that we can expect to see more of Gia in the upcoming season of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. I just wonder what is going on with Gia's law school. Like, I'm wondering, is she still pursuing that? I haven't really gotten an update when it comes to the whole thing. I know that now they have the partnership with Cheyenne, and now Andy has confirmed that we can expect to see a lot of Gia. So Gia is probably going to be supporting her mom and getting involved and, like, acting like a mini housewife in the upcoming season. But I would just really like to know if she's still pursuing law school. And not to say that she can't pursue law school and be on TV. It's just a legitimate question that I have. And one other thing too, Teresa, that I forgot to mention, Teresa also said that, Gabriella has no interest in doing Housewives. She hates the cameras, always shies away from the cameras, and we've seen that on the show. Like, she's not really like front and center like that. She said that Adriana was definitely too young because she's 14 years old, so no, she's not going to be a housewife. It's not even a question. But she said that in the future she could definitely see, maybe Gia, if this is what she wants to pursue, or Melania, because Melania loves the cameras, according to Teresa.